milliseconds issue. There we go. I hope. Now, what I think I'm going to have to start doing in order to try to make this work is just going to be connect to Beam, like, connect to Beam like half an hour ahead of time. You know? Connect to it long before we actually start. Says public. Please work. Thank you. All right, give me a sec to get this going. Then I'll say what I'm saying. Good grief. Something could just work, please. Well, I've got like, I'm currently streaming to, I think, 10 places. And there's an 11th I could do. But yeah, I would need to find out where all he streamed to be able to do that. I know one of them's Facebook. But Facebook won't let me stream to them. Because I'm too small. So that eliminates one place that I could stream to. But yes, I did see that, and I was thinking, good grief, I've been doing this for forever, and like, there is no credit to me for any of this stuff. Anyways, as I was saying, the problem with the startup, and it's been getting worse, is I stream to Beam, and then I multi-stream out. But the connection keeps getting worse to Beam, and there's nothing, doesn't seem to be anything I can do. Where for the first 15 minutes this time around, it just keeps connecting, then disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting, and then it does that to everything else. The only solution I could think of at the moment, which is not great, I certainly don't want to have to do this but I might not have a choice, is going to be like half an hour early. Turn on OBS and stream, but switch off all the outputs on Beam and just wait for it to figure out what it's doing, and then turn on all the outputs once it's working. My hand tracking is on, please. That's not my favorite solution, but we're going to try it on Sunday because I can't think of anything else to do right now. But yeah, this is a Beam connection issue, unfortunately. And like I said, it's been getting worse. That's true. I have a holiday on Monday too. I don't know yet if I'm going to stream on Monday, but I do have a holiday on Monday. So yay, all of us that have holidays on Mondays. So, what are we doing tonight? We are going to... I've got a Dungeons & Dragons build I want to do. So we're going to do a Dungeons & Dragons build. Character build. And then we're going to do a... and then we're going to get to trying the Radiance. I don't know if I want to do Colosseum because, I mean, it might maybe as a warm-up, but it sounds like it's going to be a fight to get the third Pale Ore, and I need all three in order to actually upgrade. So we'll have to see if that's something I want to do. For now, though, I am going to pull up what I want to do. Need the correct setup. For a build. So new window. We need some good background music, and I need something that isn't going to immediately get me copyright nuked, because everything always gets me copyright nuked. YouTube sucks. Zelda stuff isn't copyrighted. We're going to do Zelda stuff. Well, if I actually manage this, it'll be Minish Cap. So let's do a Minish Cap OST. I will get hit with a copyright if I do that, because the system's stupid. So, do that. We're going to turn it down a little bit. And then how's that for volume? Is that a good volume for everyone? I'm going to assume yes. So, we are going to be building a Beastmaster Ranger using a system that other people have talked about, mostly for barbarians and a little bit for fighters. Well, actually no, I guess with Rune Knight, fighters gotten a fair bit of attention with this. But I'm going to do it to fix the Beastmaster Ranger, since everyone talks about how bad the Beastmaster Ranger is. And what that system is using large weapons. Not like, oh, I have a great sword. It's, oh, I have a great sword sized for someone a size bigger than me. And so, now the big what this does is it allows you to roll twice the dice, which is pretty cool. But you roll with disadvantage unless you can figure out how to deal with that. So, we've got two possible starting races There's a third that I'm going to bring up at the end for an alternate build, but it's not core rulebook. It uses a splat. So I'm not going to start with that. Excuse me. This has been getting better, but unfortunately it's very hazy out right now. And since it's not completely better, that means that anything that does aggravate my lungs that I could normally just ignore is just that much worse. Anyways, humans got a wild buff that makes them probably the best starting race for this. Resourceful. You gain heroic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. That means, at the end of a long rest, when you enter your first combat, and you go to smack someone with your giant sword, you use your heroic inspiration, and it's no longer at disadvantage. You don't get the advantage, they negate, but you're just making a normal attack. That's actually really powerful. I mean, it's really powerful anyways. But the ability to do that, now you're hitting with 2d10 or 2d8 or 4d6 if you're using a great sword. Unless you're playing Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 changes things up. But yeah, so the heroic inspiration thing is huge. Plus, of course, versatile, you get a second origin feat. And we'll come back to that in a second. Because you do get an origin feat either way, but let's look at the other race. It's not as good at this, but the Goliath is another option. Because at level 5 you get the large form. Whereas a bonus action, you can size yourself up. It does not increase the size of your weapons, unlike some other abilities. But now you're just a large creature using a large weapon. So the Goliath is your second best option here. And you just kind of got to muddle through for 5 levels. Or 4 levels, I guess. But giants have some of their own bonuses, but the main thing we're looking for is the large form. But yeah, humans are actually really super duper strong for this. And then you get the feats. And depending on your DM, Lucky is the first thing that you want to take for sure. Lucky is a really powerful feat. In general, it's a great one to take, but they changed the wording from the original one. That sort of means it may or may not actually affect you the way that you want it to affect you. Because you get your luck points equal to your proficiency bonus. When a creature rolls a d20 for an attack against you, you can spend 1 luck point to impose disadvantage. When you roll a d20 for a d20 test, which includes attacks, you can spend a luck point to give yourself advantage. Now, some people are going to say, well, if you have disadvantage, that doesn't count. I think disadvantage is still a d20 test, so you can give yourself advantage. And I both play and DM, so this is coming from both a player and a DM saying that that's how I would roll that. Is, yes, it's a disadvantage, but it's still a d20 test. Go ahead and use your luck. If you have a really nice DM, you can get them to use the original Lucky, which means you roll your disadvantage, then you roll a third d20 for advantage, and you can just pick what you want to use. The original Lucky is like super powerful. But we're assuming 2024, even though even I don't play straight 2024. I like to mix and match. I know how to rebalance things, so it's not a big deal for me. But yeah, so Lucky is if the DM agrees with that rolling, that advantage on the on the attack is huge. Other options for you. Good grief. It is so... It's been bad today. Is Cult of the Dragon Initiate. And remember, if you're a human, you get 2 of these. Where you can use the Dragon's Terror to make your opponent be frightened. Which on its own is a really powerful ability. And it kind of makes sense, you know. Yeah, it's dragon, not beast, but you're doing scary things. And Beastmaster's all about beasts, and beasts do scary things. And then, you get inspired by fear. Because you do this, and you get a heroic inspiration if you don't have one. So you attack, you scare them, and then you get heroic inspiration, and then you attack again. And rinse and repeat. Lord's Alliance. Which is something that you want a friend to have, actually. I got the order of these wrong. Oops, I think. Which, once per turn, when you score... if you have a friend, once per turn, when they score a critical hit, they can give you heroic inspiration, which, as already determined, you are burning in order to land your hits. Now, this is starting to get into party built around helping you. Admittedly, this is just a generally great ability, but I do want to keep it away from being super reliant on your party with this build, but I wanted to throw some of these in there just to give you some options. But this is going to be the only place where we're really looking at party stuff. Tireless Reveler. When an ally you can see within 60 feet of you expends a heroic inspiration, you gain a heroic inspiration if you don't have one. You could do this proficiency times per long or short rest. So again, you're just getting back those heroic inspiration points to use to negate your disadvantage with your large weapon. Purple Dragon Rook. You roll initiative and don't have the incapacitated condition. You can choose a number of creatures equal to your proficiency bonus to give heroic inspiration to. Which is, again, you aren't gaining the heroic inspiration option, but you're giving people heroic inspiration. Though, you do have this option. Because now you gave everyone heroic inspiration, then they're using their heroic inspiration, and then you're gaining heroic inspiration. Musicians give people heroic inspiration. There's not a whole lot else to say about that. So, we'll get to the last couple in a sec. What about the Ranger themselves? Well, you get your simple and martial weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields. The funny one is being a Cobalt lineage medium creature and using pack tactics. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's awful! That's so mean! It works, but it's so... Pack tactics, it's just so mean. You just gang up on people and murder them. So, yeah. What was I gonna do? Alright. So, simple and simple and martial weapons. You basically have your pick of what you want to use. And there's a couple different options that you can go with, depending on how you're handling things. And you can pick 2 weapon mastery properties, and you can swap them. So you can kind of figure out what you want to do. Where'd the weapon tab go? Oh. It isn't part here. So you're going to come down to martial weapons generally because these are the better weapons over the simple weapons. The best build is if you can work your way around with the great sword. Maul is a good second, but the great sword being 2d6, it's 2 dice, and we'll get to why shortly, is powerful. But for this build, depending on how you're doing things, you're probably going to want a shield. And so you're going to want to pick something like a long sword that you can use in one hand. So you're going to have, and again, it's going to be slashing, and you want slashing. But yeah, if you can, and I'm going to tell you a way to do great sword here at the end. That's that bit of cheese that I was talking about. And then, of course, you're probably going to want something that's ranged. I would say probably actually 2 ranged things. Get like a normal sized longbow and a big longbow, so you can double up on that weapon proficiency. And how that's going to come in is with your spell casting. Because another way to give yourself your advantage is to ignore Hunter's Mark and use Entangle and Ensnaring Strike. Because if you can hit someone with them, now they're restrained. And now, once they're restrained, you can use your giant bow or your giant sword to just walk right up to them and smack them, because you would have advantage to hit them, but the giant weapon gives you disadvantage, but now you're just back to normal hitting. So you're really going to be pushing these. Use like the normal bow for Ensnaring Strike, get them restrained, then pull out the giant bow and start hammering them. And it is a free action. You don't have to use any resources to just drop the bow, the little one, and come back and pick it up later. And of course, then, if you're using this in melee range, you can smack them with that. And Entangle is just a good area denial spell. You can walk through it and just be fine. So you just hit a bunch of enemies and it's like, oh, smack you, and then over here, I smack you, then over here, I smack you. And then, like I said, weapon masteries. Pick the sword and the bows that you're using. Fighting style. I forgot to pull it up. I would like, if you can get the great sword, you're going to want the great weapon fighting. Otherwise, it gets a little bit iffier. But the thing about great weapon fighting is when you're two-handing a weapon, if you roll a 1 or a 2 on the damage, you get a 3. So with a great sword, you're rolling 4d6. That's a minimum of 12 on the roll. But again, you're probably going to want to grab the shield at level 4. I'm just going to explain it now since we're already doing this stuff. Shield Master, which no longer takes a bonus action. After you attack, you can try to knock him prone, and you have advantage on attacking a target that's prone. You can also push him 5 feet for control. And the reason I'm recommending swords is because you get Slasher. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce the speed of that target by 10 feet. So if something has a movement of 30, and you knock them on the ground, it'll take them 15 feet to get up, giving them only 15 feet to move. But if you hit them with Slasher, now they only have 5 feet to move. Crusher, for those of you who like mauls and other blunt weapons, is a decent backup because when you hit someone, you move them 5 feet. which lets you disengage, and that's going to become important later. So, we haven't even gotten to the actual subclass. Beastmaster. Beast of the Land. And we're after this for one reason. The Beast of the Land's Beast Strike. First of all, the Beast of the Land has 40-foot move, 40-foot climb. That's really good. This attack has a reach of 5. So it can attack and stay unengaged. It can just run away without having to take an attack of opportunity. You choose what damage type. That's kind of irrelevant because it doesn't benefit from the feat. If it moves 20 feet in a straight line, not only does it do more damage, it knocks a target prone. You can have your beast attack, knock the target prone, and then walk up and hit them. That's huge. And while they're prone, if you need to disengage, they have disadvantage to hit you. Now, one of the rules, the only action it could take is dodge action unless you take a bonus action to command it to take an action. I do not believe you could sacrifice one of your attacks to command it to use the Beast Strike action. I do not think that this says that you have to use the bonus action or action replacement every turn. I would assume, since it's supposed to be a fairly smart creature, that's really smart for a beast, should be able to talk and read, just not very well, intelligence. I think that you should be allowed to form a battle plan with your critter and have it work with you and not have to keep sacrificing your own resources. It doesn't make sense to me that it's like you have to keep using this every turn. Plus, it does say take an action, use a bonus action command to take an action. So what? Does that attack action? So can it use Beast Strike twice? Bonus action and sacrifice an attack? Because that's an action in its stat block, isn't it? Watsy, what are you doing? But the point is, though, that since you're using a big weapon that gives you disadvantage to hit, the Beast Strike's ability to knock a target prone is actually really, really helpful and useful. Watsy claims to be smart for a beast, and clearly it cannot read or plan. Yep. And that's pretty much the reason we're looking at a Beastmaster, is the ability to knock things prone for your advantage. Now, at level 5, you're going to want a +1 of your big melee weapon and a +1 of your big bow. That's +1s to hit, that's +1s to damage. They're magical weapons. Using the base rolls, you're going to have an extra 500 gold, 1 uncommon item, and 2 common items. With that, you can buy your big sword, buy your big bow, have some cash left over, and buy 2 of these, which are the big cheese. This, after everything else I've said, these are super duper important in order to get your initial hits in, to set stuff up, have your targets prone, and keep hitting them. The Clockwork Amulet. When you make an attack roll, forego rolling and just take a 10. That includes disadvantage. So, if you just can't get yourself advantage on the hit, like with the big bow at range, take 10 plus modifiers, because it still takes your modifiers, your dex or strength, your proficiency, anything else you can use. And you have a decent chance of hitting. Now, like I said, I personally really like to use a greatsword, but the shield bash is really important in order to get him on the ground and keep hitting. So you gotta use something lower, or you gotta say, nope, I'm just gonna go all in on the greatsword and not worry about the shield bash. This is a splat. This is a splat called The Delver's Guide to Beast World. It has a bunch of furry stuff, yes. Get a bunch of anthro-animal species to play as. And you get the bovine, who has head down, feet forward. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line toward a target as part of your turn, your first melee attack against that creature is made with advantage. So you knock him down, you hit him, then you disengage. Well, you don't disengage, you walk away and you hope that that disadvantage to hit you works, or that timing was amazing. I did not plan that at all. Or you knock him away 5 feet and now you're disengaged. Hit and repeat. Hit and repeat. Hit and repeat. But the big one is the bison subspecies of the bovine. Unreal Grip. A large weapon is a natural fit in a bison's immense palm. When you're wielding a two-handed melee weapon and no other weapons, and a shield is not a weapon, you can wield it with one hand. Additionally, when you wield a melee weapon with the versatile property, with one hand, you deal damage as if wielding it with two hands. You can now greatsword in one hand, shield in another. You've buffed your AC, you're smacking for a minimum of 12 damage, plus modifiers, and you're keeping them down on the ground where they can't do a whole lot and you can just bully them. Recommend the splat. The spell list is wonderful and the culture writing is good. 101 already won. Oh my gosh, yes. This splat as a whole is amazing. They put so much love and work into it. You get a whole bunch of species. You get great wagon rules. Amazing wagon rules. A bunch of new spells, a bunch of new items, and a whole world with some great in-depth lore. I backed the Kickstarter. I don't regret it at all. I backed their new Kickstarter. I wish they'd hurry up because I want to play the new splat. The splat itself is great. You've got a bunch of options, but for this, we are specifically looking at the cows as a way to buff this build. Technically, this will buff any of these builds. The ability to hold a greatsword in two hands is absolutely huge, both literally and figuratively. But I figured we'd throw this in. Plus, you're a Beastmaster Ranger. It's pretty fitting, don't you think, to be a beast as you are a Beastmaster Ranger. So yeah, I just wanted to throw this together because, I mean, this is gonna... Rangers are not about hitting hard. That's what fighters and barbarians are for. But everyone always talks about how they want the ranger to hit hard, and I feel like I'm not doing well in combat. And it is true that WotC has not treated rangers very well. Well, with this, you tag teaming with your beast partner You are smacking the enemy hard. And if you want to keep your beast alive, which you should want to keep your beast alive, bark skin. It now has an AC of 17. Ta-da! Instead of, what's the base? 11? 13. Plus, then you get into the shenanigans with the party synergy, enlarge, reduce, potion of growth, all the other different buffing spells that you could do. But for this, for the main focus, it's you're using a large size weapon for double the damage dice and figuring out ways to negate that disadvantage to hit. Ranger seeks emancipation from their parents Watsy in order for their cousin Larian to become their guardian. Yeah! There's a pretty funny Ranger versus Ranger 5e versus 2024 video. The first thing. Why? That's the first question asked in the whole thing. Is why, and both the Rangers agree. I love that. So yeah, that's that little ramble. And build. Basic build. And again, I'm not paid, I'm not sponsored, nothing like... Okay. My sensor apparently needs recalibrated. I'm not paid by Beast World, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. No, I wish I was. But I just figured I'd throw that out there, both because the splat's cool and because, like I said, well, like you saw, that does an amazing job of fixing so many, not necessarily fixing, but buffing this particular giant weapon build. And yes, it works for every other class that's using giant weapons. I'm just saying. I think that's all I have for this. So we will once again run the Twitch ads. And then when the Twitch ads are over, we'll be back for more Hollow Knight. Fighting the Radiance. Very true. Take Tavern Brawler and use your opponents as your large weapons. There we go. And I did find my controller connector. So we're in like... we're in like the controller equivalent of leaning forward in the chair. We are getting silly is to take a level in Monk, use your unarmed strike to grapple, and now you don't have to wait for someone to be unconscious. You can do grievous damage to the body. True. Monk's actually got a great bonus to where when you unarmed strike someone, you immediately get to make a grapple attempt. It's not a separate thing. So you can try to grapple someone like 4 times in a row. Multi-attack, flurry of blows, unarmed strike. All right, what's my build?
An emptiness that was hidden within, now unconstrained, unifies the void under the bearer's will. This charm is a part of its bearer, and cannot be unequipped. Reveals the form of Un within the bearer. While focusing soul, the bearer will take on a new shape and can move freely to avoid enemies. A charm containing a crystal lens increases the speed of focusing soul, allowing the bearer to heal damage faster. Born from imperfect, discarded nails that have fused together. The nails still long to be wielded. Allows the bearer to slash much more rapidly with their nail. Strengthens the bearer, increasing the damage they deal to enemies with their nail. This charm is unbreakable.
Here we go, folks. See if I remember anything. Well, how's about them apples? Here we go. Let's see if I remember anything immediately. Oh, come on. Why is that censored? Or is I didn't figure out how to react to... Well, I'll say this, I survived longer than I thought I would. Come on, really?
The path I won't be don't be surprised.
Whispers its location to the bearer whenever a map is open, allowing wanderers to pinpoint their current location.
What? Hold on, what? He got his own boss. What? The door was never open. Alright, while I'm doing that, get me a drink. Oh, I never did figure out how to get this, did I?
I heard a piercing cry from the well. It echoed about my mind and left me all a daze. I'd say it was a foul beast's death, but this cry sounded different. Divine? Has something happened, little traveler? No, don't tell me. If foul events are brewing, it's probably better I don't know. Feeling tired? That bench may be iron. Plus,
Ha!
Say,
How are your travels, Snail Master? If you see your friend.
We gotta check in to see if anyone else had anything to say.
Are you enjoying yourself down there?
Oh yeah, grub prize. No, come on. Oh my gosh, I hate you! Okay, we've got one hole there, two. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good grief. You're actually 13 short based on the. Ah! Not while I'm healing! Stop that! I keep hitting dodge. Hi, Blue Kitty. Yes, I am. Well, that trip was mostly a waste.
Fragment of a lingering will.
Far down below us, beneath the kingdom, the air grows stiller and a sense of emptiness pervades. Can life flourish down there? If so, I will hunt it.
I hit dash. It killed me anyways. And I know I hit dash before I got the death noise. I keep hitting the freaking dodge, and it's just like, nope, you got hit first. Excuse you, I have the invincibility upgrade for the dash. Please tell me then why I can dodge through the light beam.
whispers its location to the bearer whenever a map is open, allowing wanderers to pinpoint their current location.
There really isn't a better combination. Stop interrupting my healing! Alright, get over here. Oh, we know you don't fear me. Ah! Alright. I wasn't... Oh, come on. Gosh. You guys should know from all the Soulsborne that I've played that my biggest pet peeve is the inconsistent rules and hitboxes. No crash. And I know Bloodborne is not my favorite in the series. Well, okay, a lot of the lore in Bloodborne is my favorite in the series, but it is not, in fact, my favorite to play. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff is still online. Oh, talking about inconsistencies and also appropriate to us doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff earlier. We may have to restart Baldur's Gate 3 again, which, I mean, that doesn't hurt too much given how long it's been since we played. Updates broke it again. I might swap from Bard to Shadow Sorcerer, I don't know. I don't even know if all of it's the mods. It might be caused by the mods, but I don't know that just removing the mods fixes it.
Transient charm, created for those who wield the Dream Nail and collect essence. Allows the bearer to charge the Dream Nail faster and collect more soul when striking foes.
I figure we're fighting in a dream. Maybe let's try that.
Senses the pain of its bearer and lashes out at the world around them. When taking damage, sprout thorny vines that damage nearby foes.
Come on. Yes. Lots of soul. That worked surprisingly well for what it was.
Whisper.
Takes 2. So, problem with using that is it's gonna burn through my soul to the point where there's no point in having those. In case I want to go all in. Alright, kid. Oh, that didn't work so well. Come on. Yes. All right, I'm counting on you, kid. Okay, that's different. I'm probably screwed though. Yep, there we go. Not in the way I... It was surprisingly viable to be able to dodge around and just have those two doing most of the damage for me. The problem is I'm really dependent on being able to quickly heal and being able to run away while healing. But those are the only other things I can remove to further improve my damage output. Yeah, I'm just kind of stuck with this. Unless I want to trade things around again. But having the shield and the kid really helps. Just because I have that orbiting damage. Literally. And the shield does a little bit of blocking. It's not great, but it certainly helps. I'm going to do something I haven't done all game. I'm going to have a quick look at Radiance fight builds. Unbreakable Strength, Unbreakable Heart, Mark of Pride, Quick Slash. Shaman Stone, Spell Twister, Soul Eater, Unbreakable Heart. Strength slash Twister, Shaman. So Strength kind of dominates here. You know what? Why not? Let's give it a shot. Gonna go with Unbreakable Strength, Unbreakable
Increases
Heart,
health of the bearer.
Quick Slash.
Born from imperfect,
Now they're saying Mark of Pride.
freely given by the Mantis tribe to those they respect, greatly increases the range of the bearer's nail, allowing them to strike foes from further away.
I think I'm gonna chicken out and stick with the Quick Focus. Sneak and heals when I can. Come on. Yes! Yeah, we know. Wrong way. Well. All right, then. I want to watch you guys do it. Ah. All right. Calm down. Try to reset the Twitch. Try to. No, try to reset the coughing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ah. I do so enjoy. I feel like a bond over common interests. Like, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, just dying here. Oh my god. All right. How many slots was this? 2, right. Come on. Ah, that.
Get the!
Okay. Oh, you're not affected by that. Darn it. Okay, well, there's no point in that then. Ah.
Get the!
Nope, that wasn't gonna happen. Set the controller down for a sec, literally try to catch my breath. Go back to a doctor to check in your conditions at your return home. Yes, that's one of the first things I did was go to a doctor. It is technically getting better. It's worse at the end of the day. You know, I wake up and I'm mostly fine. Or I actually feel fine and think it's gone, and then maybe 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock rolls around, and I'm back to coughing. I can feel, though, that the coughing is not as bad overall. Mostly because it doesn't hurt anymore, because it hurt for a while. Some of it is definitely just that the muscles are tired and the throat is worn out. And so the throat's worn out and then it gets irritated, which makes me cough. And I could feel that the muscles are also just tired from everything. Because sometimes if I stretch the wrong way now, I can feel it kind of want to cramp or tighten a little bit, which it normally does. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm super flexible, but normally stretching doesn't cause me any problems. And I could feel it's just right the same muscles that get used for coughing are the ones that are like, oh, pushing a little too hard. I'm giving up. So I think that some of it now is a mix of the fact that the irritants aren't quite gone yet. We have very hazy weather right now, which of course aggravates it. And just from all the coughing, everything's exhausted. You know, that fun thing of all the results from whatever like when you're like, no, like when you get sick and then after you're completely healed from being sick, recovered from being sick, you just feel bad in different ways because of how hard your body had to work getting over being sick. You know, that kind of stuff. I think we're going to take our midstream break. I'm going to see if I can shake this out. We're going to see, are we going to continue? Or am I just going to say, we're going to switch to some Zelda because my Twitch reflexes are about done for tonight. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. See you guys shortly. Okay, I'm back. I was also just chuckling at being reminded that in the realm of sigil in D&D, when you use summons, not just Find Familiar, but any summon spell, because of the way that plane works, you get something different than what you summoned. So I was laughing at I know this isn't an original idea, but that doesn't stop it from being funny, at least in my opinion. I was laughing at the idea of someone, casting any summon spell, and the summon pops in with like a name tag. Hi, my name is. I will be your temporary insert summon here. Okay. When someone casts Fire Familiar, it is a Lady of Pain and thinks, oh, I don't think it's that extreme. I think it's like, I summon my Imp Familiar, and an Imp from a different, from either a different, Devil Lord, or even just like a neutral temp agency pops up. I don't think you can summon, can you? Do things other than the regular familiar options or equivalents pop up? Casting Find Familiar getting the Lady of Pain would be wild. I'm gonna try one or two more times, but I do not think I have it in me to sustain this much more tonight. My Twitch reactions are dying pretty quickly. I mean, you guys know I go into these streams pretty tired to start with, just because of the long day, long week. I forgot what charms I had on. All right, I'm going this strategy. Oh, come on. Oh wait, I should heal. No, I'm not making it this run. Or maybe I'm gonna get super duper lucky. There is a small but definite risk to get an absolute random creature, and the lady is a creature. Oh! That's like wild scary. As anyone who can infer from the name can probably guess, getting the Lady of Pain is a scary proposition. Once again, we all know you don't fear me. I'm really only getting like single hits in on her.
Used by shamans to draw more soul from the world around them.
Not as good against Hollow Knight, but I'm really only getting single hits in on Radiance. Please stop interrupting my healing! Oh, come on. Stop interrupting the healing!
Get the...
Okay. Cool. Cool. Again, just give me a sec for the breather. All right. All right. I think we're probably looking at just a couple more tries before we say, nope, this isn't happening tonight, and the twitch reflexes are gone.
Whispers its location to the bearer whenever a map is open, allowing wanderers to pinpoint their current location.
I don't think this is working so well. The bounce back damage is nice, but it freezes me even longer in place. Hey, if I can make you think of Ghostbusters, I think I'm doing something good. I think I'm doing something right. So that's as high damage as I can get without taking off of the pale ore. That's 2 things for harvesting soul.
Builds resilience. When recovering from damage, the bearer will remain invulnerable for longer. Makes it easier to escape from dangerous situations.
It's like the first thing I got. And then we've never used it.
Reveals the form of Un within the bearer. While focusing soul, the bearer will take on a new shape and can move freely to avoid enemies.
You know what? I think it's stupid time.
Protects its bearer with a hard shell while focusing soul. The shell is not indestructible and will shatter if it absorbs too much damage. Composed of living fungal matter. Scatters spores when exposed to soul. When focusing soul, emit a spore cloud that slowly damages enemies.
I just remembered that the fungus one doesn't work on Radiance. Fungus's undead plants is pretty good comparison. Alright, so we're gonna need to change fungus out at minimum. Oh my gosh, that actually worked. Holy crap! It blocked the sunbeam! It blocked the freaking sunbeam! Okay, so that works. Holy crap. I know that I dodged through some of those big spikes during my invincibility gap. So that kept me going too. And of course, obviously with Shape of Un, I can run away. So the fungus doesn't work on Radiance because it's too high up. We've got one space, and I'm not over charming. You know what I haven't tried? Or if I did, it was like one of the early things I tried and then I stopped.
Bears the likeness of a strange bug known only as the Sprint Master. Increases the running speed of the bearer, allowing them to avoid danger or overtake rivals.
Mobility build? I say mobility build as I have one mobility charm and all defensive charms.
Get the...
I think I got greedy. I got greedy.
Whispers its location to the bearer whenever a map is open, allowing wanderers to pinpoint their current
What other
location.
ones do I have that are actually useful? Grub Song. No.
Unique charm bestowed by the King of Hallowest to his most loyal knight. Scratched and dirty, but still cared for. Causes the bearer to emit a heroic odor.
You know what? It's just passive damage around me, right? Oh yeah, he's taking hits from the cloud. And it moves with me instead of sitting on the ground. Stop that. And you have no charms to combo to it, so it should be okay. What's wrong with comboing to it?
Whispers its location to the bearer whenever a map is open.
You know what I'm gonna try? Charms that combo to it, get a cloud effect in return for losing 1/2 to 2/3 of their base damage. Oof. I'm gonna try removing quick focus because while it's nice to have the quick regen. Oh no, I'm gonna need it because I need to be able to, even with running away, I can't run away long enough against the Radiance. Like, quick focus and running away is just enough to get me a health point every once in a while against the Radiance. There's no extended running away. I was thinking about taking away that in order to open up some more charm options. Java was interesting choices. Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to tell you yet. I found out that someone, he's not part of the usual group, but he's someone that I know who is like a voluntary forever DM. Like, he doesn't like playing at all. I told him, alright, you are drafted to be a third opinion on some stuff. He absolutely loves the idea of the Spell Collector Dark Gift. Which, for those who don't remember that rant from like a year ago. The or the Collector of Spells Dark Gift, or however I phrased it. It's a dark gift, so it's like it's power but at a cost. A little bit like a mini Warlock option. It allows anyone, it gives you a couple spell points. And it allows anyone to learn spells from any spell list. but at a cost. It's like it has a really high tribute, at least as base. Obviously, you can theme it or do something other than just here's your gold. As well as, like, in order to steal some spells, it is a bit difficult. But besides the tribute that the patron demands, if you fail to meet the requirements, may have consequences. Oh, I shouldn't have healed. This is gonna be the Hornet one. Yeah, I shouldn't have healed. Your patron definitely has any and all spells that you learn. That you learn through that particular ability, at least. Always right into the giant needle on that one. Heal, heal, heal! I don't know how I survived that one. Ow. Well, there we go. There's swords in this game that nails. Okay, that's fair. Anyways, the patron most definitely gets every spell that you learn through that ability. And they probably are giving those same spells to the minions. So if there's ever a conflict, which there probably will be, it's a dark gift for a reason. Your own powering up is powering them up. Alright, that's probably the last heal. So I can preserve some soul. I'm really proud of the Collector of Spells ability. I said that, but I'm gonna need to heal because I'm stupid. Because it's like, the ability to learn spells is really important. Being normally a wizard-only thing, but it's like... How did that not hit me? Well, actually went a really long time without getting hit there. That's first. I'm also working on, but I've realized it needs a serious rebalance. A system in which characters can sort of play wagers against powerful beings for more power, but at a significant threat of cost. Basically a gambling minigame. And I want it to be more than just the thing I tested. I want it to be one of a bunch of different minigames themed in different ways. The idea is you're basically gambling against a powerful being. And you know, there's various possible benefits, but there's also costs. Like, as you gamble, you actively gain corruption points. And understand that you can only have 5 corruption points. 4 and remain a functional character. At 5, you're in trouble if someone doesn't heal you quickly. It's not necessarily the, up 2 starts with 2. It's not necessarily the end of a character, but at that point, it's like, oh, don't worry, I won't hold this over you. You just gotta, I'll remove the corruption points. You just gotta do some stuff for me. Well, you owe Joker a favor. Yeah, something like that. So, with the test build, I've realized that I need to balance it a lot. Because character so far has acquired, with another round on the way, 13 Eldritch Invocations. Now, the character themselves has a very anemic subclass for a sorcerer. So, this is a rare case where for them, that's not the worst thing in the world. You know, especially since the invocations are still limited to what they could have at their level otherwise. And are heavily based around fun things instead of ultra optimizing the build. However, in order to get to this point, it did come at its own cost. Hello. Because the shush you. It's a sorcerer whose highest stat is not charisma. Though it is Constitution, so it's still a good stat to have. Yeah, well, I fear you. How did I get away with that? Well, I really didn't, I guess. Alright, there it goes. Highest stat is Constitution. Wasted a feat the first invocation I won. And even though I didn't realize it initially, picked a race that has an ability that benefits this instead of being a sorcerer. You know, that's a lot of stuff stacked towards having better chances at the game than doing sorcerer things. Which is something that I did want to do, where it's like, whatever game you play against, you know, that there's at least 6 possible games with the given patrons deliberately picking games that you are not, you know, as a character going to be good at. Or, at the very least, is something that isn't going to benefit from your primary stat. That's an interesting glitch. You guys saw that, right? He interrupted my heal with his scream. Or I guess with the Radiance's scream, that. The shield stayed up. And because I didn't immediately resume trying to heal, I ran away. The shield stayed up and took a hit for me, even though I wasn't in focus mode.
Get done!
Ah! Yeah, that was probably the best I've done so far. Yeah, I know, Mr. One More Run. After that, I'm sitting here going, hey, maybe I can do this. Oh. First time in a while, the eyes decided they're going to be a problem. Anyways, yeah, I think that'd be neat, but I definitely need to rebalance it. I was using a game that's a spoof of Shotgun Roulette, but maybe I'm wondering if it's a little too simplified and it'd be better to just use Shotgun Roulette. Or I'd have to expand all the different stuff where different items have different effects on the character alongside what they do in the main game. And like I said, I want to do multiple things, not all the same thing. You know, something that benefits from strength, dex, intelligence, wisdom. Charisma. I just gotta actually get some balances and things figured out. Alright, let's actually heal. See? See? Oh! And then I immediately got it hit.
Get down!
Again. As I keep saying, we know you don't need to repeat that part. We are well aware you don't fear us. Alright, I think this is going to be the last run for real. I just don't think I can keep this up. Even after that really good run. All right. Um. I think I'm gonna do the smart thing for once and just call it for the night, rather than dig into Zelda for the last hour. I think I'm just gonna say I am tired, and we're going to take a break, or not take a break. We're gonna call it for the night. I will definitely be back on Sunday as usual. And on Sunday, I will let you know if we should be looking for something on Monday. In the meantime, I thank you all for sticking with me and watching me fight the same fight for the past 2.5 hours. Hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy your holiday to those that have it. Be safe. And I'll see you in the next stream. Have a good one, all.